Hey everybody, GReimer here, coming at you once again from Cerro Gordo Zoo, doing a little bit more building here in the ZAWA mod here in Minecraft, and check it out, behind me is the tuft deer exhibit that we built last week. You guys killed it once again in the comments section, thank you for that, and we got a couple of names for those deer that we're going to be putting in there today, but we got a lot of work to do today. We got a lot of work. There's an exhibit that I want to put in right behind me right there, kind of in that area right behind me, and it's going to take quite a bit of work and digging and terraforming and stuff. But I did do some stuff around the zoo really quickly that I want to show you guys. Okay, since the last episode, I didn't do any more on the ship. I'm sorry. I've been doing other things, but I didn't get any of the rigging done on the ship, so it's still just the way it is right now, just like that. But over here, if you look, this is all new. This is all new. Now, this is above the tree frog exhibit, but I did get a path put in here that leads up to this new section of the zoo that we expanded to last week. And ta-da! There it is. It's all put in. All the terraforming's done. It looks oh so nice. You know, I kind of like it. It kind of matches with the rest of the zoo, and it leads right on up into this area. Now, this part up here still needs a lot of love and attention, but that's kind of the purpose of today's episode, is adding another thing that adds a little bit more love and attention up there. But all right, so I did this, and there's another part that I worked on. Ooh, the bears are not happy about me being here. There's another part that I worked on too since last episode. Over here by the aquarium now, I also redid this side of the river completely. I mean, I got to add a little bit more detailing to this, but I did switch over from grass to stone, obviously doing a lot of terraformation around the base and getting things all sorted out to look a little bit more like the actual Cerro Gordo. And then there's this path that I actually finished, connecting all the way over to here and down in front of the walrus exhibit. That is done right now. This area I also raised up a block too, and I also got to work on putting in some of these stone spires, stone spikes. That is definitely a light glitch right here. Look at that. Man, let's fix that. These stone spikes right here that are holding the shipwreck in place. So I got to work on doing all that, as well as jump in the water here. All of this stuff down here. I did the entire landscape down here leading into the ocean itself. So yeah, I didn't get to the rigging. I'm so sorry, you guys. I tried, but I did a lot of other stuff in the meantime, though. But let's get on down into the little hidey holes, because we got to do a little bit of naming for those deer. Okay, I've only got 2 of these things, and there were a few names added. There's actually not too many of them added this week, but there were a few, so I got to choose between them. Imagine Wild Dog suggested that I name one Bambi, and then Bunny Eilish suggested that because these deer have fangs, we should name one Vampire Bambi. So I'm going to give credit to both of you guys. We're going to name this one Vampire Bambi, because I thought that was hilarious. And for the second one, big shout out to SlothBuddy206, who suggested, you guys know I like Pokemon names, suggested Deerling. Now, I have heard a couple of reports that these things like to jump. I don't know the truth behind that. I did no testing whatsoever, like a true professional. I'm really hoping that's not true. But if it is, I guess we're about to find out. So, alright, let's go put these things down here. One tough deer down right there. This is going to be called Deerling. Wham, and Deerling is a female. And the other one up here is going to be Vampire Bambi. We're going to put that one down. That one's a little guy. Look at him. Bam, Vampire Bambi. There we go. And Vampire Bambi is a male. Alright, you guys, the drugs should be wearing off pretty soon, but welcome to Cerro Gordo. Hopefully you guys don't jump out and eat my face. And I've got to get on to doing some other building, so just sleep it off. Oh, that one's awake. That one's awake. He's awake and he's moving. Oh, they do have fangs. Look at that. You guys were not lying. Okay, it looks like they're jumping a little bit, but it doesn't look like they're jumping up high enough to like clear anything beyond like 1 block. I'll keep an eye on you guys, though. You over there? I got my eye on you. But what we're going to do over here is we're going to get to work on building another exhibit. This is going to be a rather large one, so it's going to take a little bit of work. And I think I'm going to use some of this natural terrain here to help myself out a little bit when it comes to the actual like digging portion of this. I have over here a little bit. Actually, let's pull up the map and look at that. I have over here, right here actually, a pygmy hippopotamus exhibit. And they're adorable. But they are not common hippopotamuses. Hippopotamuses, I think is the correct one. So I think in today's episode, we are going to add a hippo exhibit, a proper hippo exhibit. And it's going to go like right in here, I'm thinking. I kind of want to have it take up this like divot, like I said, use some of the natural terrain. And then I'm going to have to dig over into here and extend it this way. It's going to be a rather large exhibit. I want to make sure I give them plenty of room. I don't actually know how many hippos I have. But I've seen them all over the place, so I'll probably be able to grab more if I don't have too many. I do want to put, like I said, give them a lot of room, a lot of space in here. So let's actually get to marking this thing out. I'm thinking it's going to come up to like right about here, at least. Okay, so that's where like the front of the exhibit's going to go. somewhere in there, and then it's going to curve down into this area right here. You know, like kind of like a L shape or boomerang kind of looking shape exhibit. So maybe I can probably start bringing it back a little bit sooner over here. Like, this is going to be a big exhibit. Oh, man. There's so much digging. Oh, boy. Yeah, that's going to be a monstrous exhibit. Look at the torch line here that I got kind of laid out as far as where I want this to go. Well, got to give the hippo some room, you know? So, okay. You know what that means. I've got some digging to do. Oh, boy. All right, let's grab some food. Let's grab the pickaxe. Here we go.
Sound waves reaching the microphone are changed into impulses of electric current.
No need to worry about your pre-recorded music tapes being accidentally erased. It can't happen.
Well,
That right there is a really, really big hole. All right, so that's a lot of land I had to clear out of there, but that's probably the hippo exhibit I'm thinking is the way it's going to be. Now, I don't really, excuse me, zebras, I didn't mean to impede on your space over here that I placed you in months back. But this is kind of a rough kind of guesstimate as to what the terrain's going to be. Obviously, it's not going to be stone, so I'm going to have to replace a lot of this with, like, well, a variety of blocks, actually. I guess I'll start like I usually do with grass, but then I'm going to change it up, obviously. But I dug this down enough that I'm hoping I can just kind of put the blocks in and rather than replacing them. So basically the like the dirt or the grass will be like one height, just like this right here. That should still keep the hippos inside the pen. I still have to do all of the walls though, so that's something I got to get to as well. Replace them obviously with the standard Cerro looking walls that we've been putting up in all the rest of the exhibits. And laid out a bunch of grass. I kind of need... I don't really like this. I don't really like this part here. Let me get airborne real quick and I'll show you what I mean. I just want to get over here. I don't really like this, how it slopes away from where the viewers would be seeing. So I kind of want to add some land in the back at least. But a lot of this is going to be water, shallow water, because the hippos obviously are going to be wading in the water. You know, that's kind of what they like to do. So I'm going to have to terraform that land in the back there a little bit too. I just put these temporary, as you saw in the time lapse there, I just put these like temporary little blocks of stone in here just to kind of raise up the land on these parts. But I will decorate those up probably in between episodes a little bit. What I'm going to probably end up doing is that design right there with like the wall, the front of the zoo, but it's going to hug the back side of this exhibit and kind of seal in this back part right here. But for today's episode, I'm just going to focus on what's inside the exhibit because that's a lot of space to cover. So, all right, I'm going to do a little bit of work here, a little quick jump cut here, but I'm going to get the walls put in for sure, and then I'm going to kind of change this land up a little bit so that it's more of what I'm expecting for the finished product. A whole lot of work later, and there we go. Check it out. Okay, so I did get the grass put in on the parts that I want there to be land masses, and then the rest of this part that's dropped down is all going to be water, because after all, hippos like water, so I'm going to give them water. Added a bunch of cobblestone in on the walls, of course, you know, just like we've done on the rest of the zoo, as well as sprinkled in a bit of moss stone in here as well, because obviously if it's really kind of damp and a lot of water in here, it's going to have a little bit of moss growing on the walls. The supports for the walls are all put in, making it look like the rest of Cerro Gordo. I think we are good to go to start decorating. Now, I think what I'm going to do is start with decorating the underwater section first. We're looking for muddy, swamp lake, actually, is what we're looking for. So, well, Podzol won't really do much good underwater, but we're definitely going to use some coarse dirt, probably a whole lot of coarse dirt. I'm going to need to make more of that. 11 blocks of brown terracotta are not enough to simulate the mud that's going to be here in this entire exhibit, so we're going to have to go get a whole lot more of that. The green concrete powder can take a hike. Dead leaves will probably play a role in this. I have a few stacks of them down here. So that'll come in later, though. But as far as the blocks on the bottom of the water, we are looking at those that I've grabbed so far, as well as, which one am I looking for? The ground blocks. What do we got in here? Gravel. That's going to be a good one. And I don't really think we need sand, because this is supposed to be more like in a swamp area and not near a beach. So we're going to leave that one out of it. So coarse dirt, brown terracotta, but I got to go get more of that, and gravel are going to be primarily the blocks that make up that, as well as I'm probably going to sprinkle in some moss stone at the bottom of that. And I could squeeze in these river stones. I only have a few of them. It would kind of make sense, but this isn't really supposed to be a river. This is supposed to be like a bog. So I think I might leave them out, actually. I might just stick with these. I think that might be good enough for what I have in mind, but I do need to go get more brown terracotta. Unfortunately, before I can get to placing the blocks that I want, I actually do have to dig this entire section down one, as well as that section over there, because that's where the blocks are actually supposed to go. So I've got some digging to do. Alright, the coarse dirt has been added. I think the next block to go in here is going to be the gravel, and it's going to go in just about as heavy as the coarse dirt, actually, because it's going to be one of the more predominant blocks here in the underwater section. Alright, gravel has been put in. Now I'm going to dot in probably the moss stone, because the rest of it's going to be filled in with mud. So the moss stone is going to be kind of sporadic, just kind of placed in here. Not too often, just kind of spaced out quite a bit. I don't want to have this be like big patches of it in here. And that's looking pretty good. Now the rest I'm going to fill in with brown terracotta. Of course, I use brown terracotta in place of mud, even though there are mud blocks, of course, in the game. And that's simply because animals tend to get stuck in the mud blocks. So I use brown terracotta as a substitute. It's like the next best block I could find. Now that all looks pretty good. Got a lot of the mud actually put in place here now. And I'm liking how this looks. Now it looks a little bit strange just like with the bare eyes on it right now, because it's just kind of not a very good look, I don't think, but once you cover it with water, it'll all make sense. Plus, I'm not done actually building in the area where the water is. I just want to put that down first so I can get an idea of what the rest of the land is going to be, which is what we have to decide on what to do now. Now, let's see. Let me actually look through my backpacks here and figure out what blocks I'm going to be using. Starting with the backpack pack. All right, let's look in here, because there's this cool block here called Podzol. Definitely going to be using that on the land quite a bit, actually. Don't need the green concrete powder this time around. But I'm going to need, well, we have plenty of grass blocks. Podzol, I'm going to need some coarse dirt, Podzol, and other muddy-looking blocks. A little bit of gravel, not much. Mud itself, yes. In fact, I'm thinking between these 4 blocks right here, we could probably make something work, along with the grass blocks kind of sprinkled in, and the path blocks. So that's just even more grass. So that's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Counting the path blocks, 6 blocks. maybe even a couple stone piles in there, and we can really make this thing pop. Okay, but starting off, we're going to start with the podzol actually this time, because I'm thinking that this will actually look really good. I'm going to work this shoreline here just a little bit, because I want to make sure I get this correct before I continue on with the rest of it. But podzol is going to be a pretty heavy block here in the entire exhibit, because it is supposed to be more like a swampy kind of boggy area is what I'm going for. Something with a lot of mud for the hippos to reside in. Okay, now that the podzol has been added and it's kind of dotted out throughout the entire parts of the land, actually, we're going to go back over to the shoreline here, and what we're going to do is we're going to start sprinkling in some mud that's seeping in from where the water line is. And this is going to be actually kind of spread throughout this area as well. I think that especially more along the shorelines here, though. Like, it's going to be pretty far in. That's what, like 4 or 5 blocks far away from the water. It's going to be spreading in pretty far. Okay, the mud has been added, or the brown terracotta. The mud has been added, though, and as you can see, it's kind of more abundant on the shorelines here, but it does kind of spread out through into the actual rest of the land. So it should make this place look pretty, I guess, wet and overrun, you know? It's not, this is definitely not stable land is what I'm going for. Now, I do want to sprinkle in this gravel a little bit, but not too much, actually. This has got to be pretty light, because I don't want this to seem like gravel is more like a rock, when you think, or it's like rocky terrain. So when you put down too much gravel, you're going to get this look like things are actually a little bit more stable than what they actually are. So I just want to dot this in here, because this is supposed to look more like mud and rather than gravel and rock. So I just want to add that in there just kind of sporadically, almost like what I did with the moss blocks here, or the moss stone, kind of throughout the land masses. And I'm putting all of it on the internal parts of the land, actually. So I'm not putting any of it on the shoreline here, because I want it to all be kind of like where there actually is more land. You know what? I think that's probably pretty good. Only a few blocks over here. Gravel, I think, is done. Now, the next block that we can add, actually, I think is the path block. There's still a lot of grass in here, but we're talking hippos, all right? We're talking hippos stomping the grass, any grass that's actually in here. Actually, no, hold on. We're missing one here. We're missing a block. We're missing the coarse dirt. Oh, I pulled a I forgot about that. All right, let's quick get the coarse dirt put in here. This is going to be a block that's actually quite a bit. There's going to be quite a bit of it in here, but probably not as much as the podzol, I'm thinking, because I do want to leave a fair amount of grass, because I need to do the path blocks. So I can't be getting rid of all of the grass blocks. I have to leave some of them. There we go. Okay, so now that I got the coarse dirt put in there, I can't believe I forgot the coarse dirt. Jeepers, let's inhale a chicken and ponder this for a second. Okay, so now I just need the path blocks, and the ground in here should be done. I'm going to mat this down quite a bit, and this will definitely make it pop. Okay, this is definitely going to start making it look a lot more like a swamp, actually. So, yeah, this is going to look good. Oh, yeah. Like I said, that makes it pop. It really does make it pop. Look at that. The path blocks just add a dirtiness to it that really works with everything. Now, we need to add a lot more stuff to this. We need to do a couple of things, actually, like starting with sleeping, because creepers be creeping, and I gotta make sure that I don't blow up my masterpiece here. I don't want my swamp getting blown up. Now, I've been holding off adding the water, because I like being able to quickly move around in here, but we'll get around to that for sure. But we need to add, like, foliage and stuff in here, but I think that maybe adding like a down log, since we have plenty of space. There's also trees, which we could add, although I don't really know if I want to. I think it might look better if we keep this place a little bit more open. Or if we do add trees, I mean, probably the willow trees are going to be the best, but if we do add trees, I don't want to have it be too many of them. This isn't supposed to look like a forest, obviously. This is supposed to look more like a swamp. So let's see. Let's add a tree or two. We're gonna add a willow tree. Let's add a tree or two. Let me go get the seed. Fly. And probably only 1 or 2 trees in that whole area. Even though it's a big area, just 1 or 2 trees. Now, I don't have too many of these willow seeds, or the willow catkins, apparently they're called. But I don't need too many on this time, or this time around anyway, so it's all good. So let's just slap one down like right there. And I'm also running a little short on bones and bone meal. I think that's like all I have right there. I never actually did find a skeleton dungeon in this entire season, so I haven't done a lot of mining though. Like once I got my stuff going, I just got to building right away. Let's see, we slapped one down there, and I really don't know if I really want to do another one someplace else, although maybe it'd probably be a good idea. Maybe like, see, maybe like right here, okay, on this little body land. That might work out pretty good. I could also probably throw mangroves in there. That might work pretty good too, but we'll stick with willows. Willows kind of look like they're from a swamp. Okay, now we have to move on to the rest of the foliage, however. So for the, oh man, my inventory sucks. Give me a second. Okay, inventory is significantly better. Let's look into the bat backpack real quick because I need to grab some dead leaves. And I guess willow leaves would probably look pretty good. Nah, spruce leaves for when it touches water, you know. Maybe even a couple of these oak leaves. All right, we'll work with that, I'm thinking. I don't really want to make it look too lively in here, even though swamps actually do have a pretty strong ecosystem in them. I'm trying to make this look kind of dirty, so I don't really want to put like lush green things in here, keeping it all roughly the same color as what these willow leaves are. Now I'm letting these dynamic trees grow on their own because I'm trying to conserve bone meal, but I'll do all the rest of the building in the meantime, and then at the end I'll give them a little boost if they're still a little too small. So small bushes and shrubs are okay even in a swamp, you know. It looks like it's almost like the plants in this area are waterlogged is what I'm trying to go for. So let's start off. In fact, I might not even use these oak leaves at all because they're really bright colored. So let's start off with like putting down a little bit of like a bush or shrub, kind of like right in here, and then we'll see what else we can add. Okay, I know it's not much, but just adding a couple of shrubs like this, I don't think they can get out over here. I don't think so. It's still a too high jump for them, so I don't really see them getting out that way. Just a little something like that, actually. Keeping the bushes pretty far spread out, I think, works out pretty good. I want to give them plenty of room to move around. After all, they are very big animals. So, yeah, I'm thinking that's pretty good. Now, as far as the foliage, actually, one thing I could do, just kind of add a little bit extra details. I could spread out a couple, like, individual leaf blocks throughout here to just kind of make it stand out just a little bit more. That might work out a little bit better. And they can be kind of close to the actual plants themselves, you know? Something kind of like this. Now that little detail is added, let's focus on the other plant life, actually. Where's my bat backpack? I need you desperately in my life. Let's squirt these things back into the bat backpack, and then we're going to grab ourselves something out of the plant's backpack, like dead bushes, for sure, because it can look like that. Reeds, you're coming with me. Cattail, absolutely. Bamboo, no, actually, you can probably stay there. Spleenwort might work. These things I might as well just get ready. In fact, a lot of the lily pads I might want to get ready because I'm going to probably be using all of them. In fact, why don't we start with that? Why don't we start with the water, okay? Like the water itself. Let's grab a couple of the water buckets here. Let's get the water put in here real fast, and then we'll get to work on actually like doodadding up the water part of the swampy area for these hippos. There we go. Got the water added. That's looking a lot better. Now, I do want to do something else with the water on the land that isn't shown right here, but first let's focus on the actual water itself. Starting with all these fun lily pads. Okay, we're gonna have to try to sprinkle these things in basically all over the place, as well as some reeds too. I want to make sure I get them in here too, because I think that looks really good. It's gonna use probably most of my aquatic kind of, or my pond looking foliage that I have, but we'll get it to work. Let's start with the lily pads, I'm thinking. So, obviously, well, I could say that obviously these will be clinging onto the side of the land a little bit more, but that's not entirely true. They just basically exist in shallow water, which that's kind of everywhere. So, actually, before we get started on this too much, let me start off by fixing up the shoreline here just a little bit. This looks all great, but it is a very defined shoreline, and this is supposed to be kind of like mud that's supposed to be like seeping into it, you know, so I want to kind of break this up a little bit, kind of like that, so it's not a very clear-cut defined shoreline, but I do like the idea of keeping it with mud defining the edge of it. There we go. Okay, that's looking better. That definitely looks more like a swampy kind of look. It blends right into where the water actually is, rather than just being a clear shoreline. I am going to probably dot just a piece, ooh, not right there, a piece or two out here as well. Not as much though, just, yeah, probably something like that. At least a fair amount of open water. Now, thanks to the lily pads and the way that Minecraft works, odds are the hippos are going to get stuck like walking on top of the lily pads more so than they are going to be like wading in the water. But whatever, that's fine. But now that we have the water added, we can get around to doing these lily pads now. So let's start off with just the regular good old-fashioned lily pad. We're just going to dot these around periodically throughout the water part. Okay, then we're going to go to the flowered lily pad, and this I don't want to put in too often. I'm just going to put down like one or two periodically, spread out quite a bit as well. And then we're just going to work our way down the sizes of the lily pads here, adding the mediums, the smalls, and then the tinies, okay? So I do want to create like lily pad patches too, so I want to group them up a little bit together so that they're not just kind of spread out all throughout the thing. So I'll stick to putting them down next to the regular lily pads, I think. Okay, funny story here, all right? You're going to laugh at this. I ran out of tiny lily pads. Actually don't have enough to fill in this area. I'm gonna have to go find some more. And I think if I remember correctly, the lily pads, well, I mean, there is this big, like, bog bayou right here. I'm thinking there's some in there. Or maybe they're over here, actually. They might be over here. Let me go fly a little bit and see if I can't find them. Aha! Found some. They're actually really close to the zoo. The zoo, ow, I just ran into that. The zoo is like right over there, just past those trees. Alright, so I just gotta collect, if I can land without the elytra activated, I just gotta collect a whole bunch of these things. 70 some episodes in, and I am still collecting plants for the exhibits. How about that? Okay, I have collected a fair amount of new lily pads. Plenty, I think it's gonna, that's gonna be needed to actually fill in the rest, ow, rough landing, rest of this place. So let me just add the rest of these things real quick. There we go. Okay, the lily pads have been added, and I think that's all I want to do for those. I don't really want to add any more. Like, I'm not trying to cover it up completely. It's not supposed to look like a film across the top of the water. So let's grab the plants backpack here, and we'll just squirt all these things back in there. I also grabbed some algae, which I was thinking about putting in the bottom here, but I'm not sure. Ooh, I need to open that. I'm not sure if that can go in here. Wrong button. Yeah, see, no, I'm not sure it can. Yeah, I think it needs to go in deeper water. Ah, well, that's alright. I don't need that anyway. I can make this work without it. Actually, let me grab those reeds back out of here, because I think it's time we start adding in some of those reeds. Look at this flower. Alright, I got a different idea. Okay, before we get on to the reeds, let's grab this water bucket here. And I want to kind of add water to to some of this stuff here. Obviously, as I've been planting all those lily pads, the willow tree's been growing, and they are doing really great. That zebra up there looks pretty crazy, how it's just like looming overhead. It's like a zebra on top of a hill over there. It's, I don't know, it's showing us its butt right now, so I guess it's not that epic anymore. But okay, like, I'm thinking about grabbing the shovel and like knocking out a block or two, and maybe actually knocking that out, and then maybe we'll just put whatever block I removed down there, and we'll just fill it with water. I'm thinking about doing that periodically in here, and what we could do is, now I don't think the hippos are gonna fall in here, but what we could do is, ooh, it's gonna be tricky. It's gonna be, there we go, got it. Something like that. At least the ones that are closer to the edge here. And then also adding like lily pads covering them or something, but kind of dot them periodically throughout the land. There we go. All right, we have a couple of little spots dotted in there. Not too many of them. I didn't want to make it seem like this area was completely flooded, or anything, but they're more like puddles on the ground. Some lily pads on top of them, I also went ahead and added the reeds along the shoreline there. I'm thinking that looks pretty good. Okay, yeah, this place is really coming along. Okay, the reeds I think is probably good enough. I think we got enough of those things. Let's talk about river cane, and where is it? Cattail. It's, you guys probably see it, and I don't. It's in my inventory, that's why. Okay, so let's talk about cattail and river cane, because I want to make sure I put these things in here somewhere as well. And I think these things might grow. Pretty sure these things grow. So I wanna put one maybe, well, no, not right there. This isn't a good spot for them. I changed my mind. We'll find a place for the river cane, but let's switch it over to the cattail real fast. And we're gonna put some of those things in here as well. And I think these don't have to be planted by water. No, they definitely do. They're like sugar cane, yeah. So we'll spread these throughout the area along the shoreline as well, and then we'll sprinkle in some river cane. I'll find a home for it. Okay, I put some river cane right over there. That should work out pretty good. Let's see, we got some cattails spread out periodically throughout this, all over the place. Actually, I didn't really want to put too much river cane because I think cattails work better for like the swamp look. In fact, now that I'm actually thinking about it, let's grab some more cattails here, because I just realized I put these things here, and you can absolutely like sprinkle a couple of them in like right alongside these little water spots here, and I think that would look really cool. And not everyone, though. Not all of them. Let's leave a couple of them open. In fact, just maybe those two. We'll just put it onto there. I think that's a nice little detail. Didn't think about that until just now. It just clicked into my head. My brain just all of a sudden thought about that. All right, so we still have dead bushes, and we have, obviously, toadstools. I don't have a lot of flat mushrooms, so I should probably go look for some of those things. I don't even know where to look. I don't remember where I even got these things. I think I just find them periodically in, like, forests and stuff. But let's actually sprinkle some of these things in on the bottom of the ground here, like underneath the trees especially. But since this is kind of like a swampy area, we could literally put them anywhere. Okay, I think that's probably pretty good for the mushrooms. I still have a couple flat mushrooms left. I only put those kind of under the trees. The rest of the toadstools I kind of spread throughout everything. Now this place here is flat and open, which is kind of boring, but I have to keep it lowland because obviously swamp kind of setting is what I'm going for here. In reality, I'm not even sure hippos exist primarily in the swamps. I should have probably looked that up first, but whatever. We're going to roll with it. We'll look in the wood backpack real quick here because I want to grab some of this dead wood here, and I want to put down like a fallen log, or like a log here maybe. Something like that. Let's get the axe out here, the ultimate axolotl, and have that do a little chappy. Alright, yeah, something kind of along the lines of that. Now, we can take some of these mushrooms here and actually kind of jazz this up a little bit to make this look a little bit cooler. Something like that. Yeah, like that. So it's a little fallen log here in the exhibit, and now I am going to use said fallen log to put down, I just clicked on it, put down this because creepers be creeping, and I need to take a nap. Okay, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, the sun is on the rise, we are good to go. Now, I do need to sprinkle in a couple of dead bushes in here because it is entirely possible that trees would have grown, or plants would have grown, and then subsequently died because of having too much water. And so we want to make sure that we add in a few of these dead bushes all over the place here. Similar to like an arid environment where they die because they don't have any water. They just kind of, too much water can absolutely kill a plant. You can drown a plant. So obviously there's a lot of water in this area, so we're going to add the dead bushes. Okay, I'm thinking we're done with those kind of bushes. Now we got to think for a second, like, what other things would there be in here? I think this devilweed would probably be in here, but I only have like 4 pieces of it, which isn't that great. Oh yeah, right here, the koru? Could be koro. I like the curliness of the plant that comes up there, so we're going to definitely be adding that in there. I think some of the spleenwort is a little bit greener than usual, but I'm thinking that kind of adds a little contrast to the other kind of bland greens around here, so we're going to dot that in here. We only have 2 pieces anyway. I'm going to put that down in a couple of places, maybe like there. Good, okay, and then we're going to dot this koru stuff all over the place, actually. This is going to go in a whole lot of spots. All right, 4 pieces of devilweed. Not very much. Okay, let's see. We'll just kind of dot that in a case. It's just going to look like tall grass. It's not even going to really make much of a difference over here, but we'll add it anyway. Okay, thinking that's pretty good there. Let's get rid of the koru for a second. Is there anything else that I want to add into this to really make it look like a swamp? Now, I know that in vanilla Minecraft, sugarcane grows like crazy in swamps, but I don't really think it's super necessary here. Yeah, I don't want to add like a stone pile or anything either because I want to keep this looking very bog-like. So, let's see, we could add some desert grass and maybe even some sprouts in here. Arctic moss, although it doesn't make sense because it's Arctic moss. It visually looks kind of cool and actually would kind of work here. But I'm thinking if we add some desert sprouts and desert grass, this might look, well, I don't have a lot of desert grass, but this might look like grass that's dying, you know? And then the sprouts would be like new, freshly growing stuff, because along with plants dying because of too much water, plants would absolutely be growing here too because there is water. So it's kind of like a weird ecosystem. Okay, so these desert sprouts, they actually go on terracotta, which is awesome. So I put a lot of them around here. So that's like new, freshly growing plants kind of coming out of the mud. You know, starting to grow, just starting to grow. But obviously they could end up like this thing right here. Or they could end up like this thing right here. You know, that's the harsh reality of Mother Nature. Sometimes you live through it, sometimes you don't. But let's see, is there anything else I want to add here? Ostrich ferns, maybe? Let's actually take a peek into, I think it's good for plants. Let's take a look into the flower, or the backpack flower, or the flower backpack. Man, dyslexia, it's tough sometimes. But we need to put down some stuff in here. I'm thinking swamp flowers would probably make a whole lot of sense. These things probably look cool, but I'm pretty sure they will poison and wither and kill the hippos, so we're not going to do that. I don't even know why I have those things. But I'm thinking those might be the only real flowers here. Temple bells, yeah, maybe. Let's get these things in here first. Yep, I like those flowers being added. I think that adds a nice touch to it. Is there any other kind of flower that we could add to this to kind of mix it up just a little bit more? Wildflowers? I mean, maybe, but ultimately, I think all of the rest of them are just like too vibrant. I mean, temple bells maybe also. Let me just take a peek and see what these things look like. I mean, they're not bad. They kind of look like they're drooping, which is kind of fitting for everything. I don't like them though. I'm gonna keep with the blue flowers that we got there. I don't really think there's anything else I want to add for flowers. It's bugging me though. Like I do want to add something, but I just don't think there's anything else that I can add to make it make sense with what I have. Yeah, we'll leave it at that, okay? We'll leave it at that, and that'll be good. Now, let's grab some bone meal. Okay, we're going to need more than that. We actually are going to need a whole lot more than that. Let's just kind of grab a bunch there. Now, let's go through here and start raising the grass up. Nope, not doing it. Okay, running short on bone meal here, but I think we got the tall grass put in. Now, we're going to actually raise up some of this stuff. Not all of it, but a couple pieces here or there to be, like, super tall grass. And then, I'm thinking this exhibit is just about done. There's still one little thing I gotta add. And that one little thing I gotta add is buttons. Okay, we're gonna definitely be sprinkling in a few buttons throughout this. I mean, obviously stones and pebbles would be just about everywhere in the world. So we're gonna be adding them into the swamp as well. And you know what? I'm thinking that's about it. I'm thinking that's really all we gotta add. This definitely looks like a swamp. Holy cow. Yeah, I actually really like how this turned out. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments section. Do you think this turned out good, bad, in between, ugly, kind of not so? I mean, let me know. I need to know these things. Your guys' input and feedback help me out a lot. Does this look like a swamp suitable for some hippos? I hope hippos actually live in swamps. You know, I'm not 100% on that anymore. I mean, I wasn't ever. Hopefully they do. All right, let me inhale a chicken. I still have to finish the rail along the outside of this, though, so I still got a little bit to do, and I obviously need to take a little power nap, too. There we go. All right, the steel bars have been added. Now, unlike last season, I do not think that the hippos are going to try to eat your leg through the bars this time around, okay? Because I don't think they can reach you up here. So it is a little bit of an improvement from last season when we had that unfortunate incident where hippos could literally just gnaw your leg off right through the bars here. But now you're totally safe-ish here at Cerro Gordo. But there you go. I think the hippo exhibit is completed. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section about this exhibit. If you think there's any improvements or if you think it's just great the way it is. There should be plenty of water for them to slosh around in, water and mud. So yeah, I think that'll be pretty good. Now, we do have one last little thing though that we have to go do, and that is go see how many hippos I actually have. Face plant. All right, there we go. Back in our little hidey hole. Let's go check out the animals we have stashed here and see how many of these hippos do I got. I gotta have one somewhere. I have 5 hippopotamuses. So if you guys could, please go down into the comment section and leave your best hippo names. I would greatly appreciate it. Whoa, I can hear the tigers and stuff growling at me. It's a little scary being down here now with all the large cats above me. The apex predators just snarling and growling. Not gonna lie, pretty creepy. But alrighty guys, I think I'm gonna wrap this episode up here. So if you did enjoy, please go ahead and smash that like button. And thank you guys so much for donating your eyeballs and your holes to this episode. Remember, hippo names down in the comment section, please, pretty please, because I am bad at naming. So, alrighty guys, hopefully you guys had a wonderful Friday, or are having a wonderful Friday. I will see you guys next week. Thanks again for watching, and bye-bye.